Loan assumptions, what are they? How do they work? Is it a good idea to do one? So a lot of houses now, there's a lot of listings that say, hey, the loan is assumable, and that's great. A couple things about them, like FHA, VA loans, those are almost always assumable. One bad thing on a VA one is if the new buyer isn't a veteran, it doesn't free up that entitlement from the veteran who's selling the home. It stays on their record, so it affects how much VA home loan they can get on the next one because some of their entitlements used. Plus, it's just on there. If something happens to the house, like they foreclose over, it stays on their record. So, but FHA, clean break. A few years ago, the mortgage insurance on FHA loans was higher, the monthly amount, and it went down about 0.3%, I think about 2 years ago. And so a lot of the loans that are in the twos and the low threes have this higher mortgage insurance. So, the 0.85 versus the 0.55. So when you take that 0.85, you put it in with the rate and stuff, it ends up being higher. But the big thing with an assumption, the biggest deal breaker, I would say, is let's say the seller's selling the home for $500,000, and let's say that the current loan balance, the assumable loan, is a balance of $300,000. Well, on an assumption, you're just taking over the loan. You're not getting a new loan. They're not meeting the new purchase price. So you're basically just going to take over that $300,000 loan, and now you have to put down $200,000 on the house. And so a lot of people don't have that. Some people do, and it's great. If they don't, you can get a second mortgage, and you can get, there's a few second mortgage companies that allow just 5% down. Most are 10 or more. But let's say you do one at 5%. The rates on something like that on a second, probably 8.5, even at a good credit union or something like that. And so basically what happens is you have these two loans. So you have to look at, what is the combined payment with both of these loans? Like if they have the higher mortgage insurance, even if they're at 2.875 on an FHA loan, that might be more like let's say 3.6 or something. And then you got a second at, let's say 8.5. I mean, that blended rate is getting close to 6%, depending on how much you can put down or not, right? So it can be a good idea to do one. It isn't always. The hardest part too is you have to go through the company that has the mortgage now, so they have to do all the assumption paperwork. There's usually a fee to do it. It can take a long time. Most aren't 30 days. Most will take months. So definitely pros and cons to it. Always advisable to talk to a lender, as such as me, to go through it and see like, okay, is this going to actually save me money or is it not? I was running numbers on one last week, and it was very minimal savings to just do your own, to keep the loan and do a second versus just doing a brand new loan. So case by case for sure. It is always good to explore it, talk to your realtor, talk to your lender, go through the numbers. It's not always better to assume the loan for the seller or the buyer. But yeah, that's my 2 cents today. Have a good one.